All right, welcome in. Excited to have this guest. And here's why I'm really excited to have this guest, because I'm sure most of you at some point during the season are saying, you know what? I'd give anything to have a front row seat to OU softball. Well, if you've ever wanted a front row seat to OU softball, really what you need to start saying is, I want Jackie Livingston's seat when it comes to OU softball, because she's right there in the dugout. She's the director of operations for OU softball. Jackie, thank you so much for joining Diamond Envy. How was it having a front row seat to maybe the most historic softball season we've ever seen before?
Well, first, just want to say thanks for having me on this morning. Big fan of the podcast. So
Thank you.
I appreciate what you're doing to grow our sport and the publicity that you've been giving OU softball all season. So that's much appreciated. And how was it? It was a season like you can't even imagine, or it's really kind of hard to put in words what you experience. Things that I remember from the season are probably like off the field, things that you see, just interactions between players and their families, and doing videos to help people's days get better, and just like small things like that. This team and the staff and the program just have a heart for people, and it's been a great season. It was obviously, the athletes are so good, and they're so fun to watch, and the support from Sooner Nation was huge this year too. So it was a lot of fun. It was a season I'll never forget.
Yeah, and it ended in a national championship, which this program's not a stranger to. And there's a lot of programs on campus that we're used to seeing win national championships. But this one felt a little bit different, at least to me, Jackie. I was fortunate enough to be able to be in the crowd for that Texas game where OU wins a championship. And there was excitement that you win another national championship, but also mixed with this feeling of sadness that this team's run was over. I've never felt that or experienced that with the team around here with the national championship. And then Patty in the post-game press conference, she's as emotional as I've ever seen her before. Now, you have a much tighter relationship with her than I do, and you've known her much longer than I have as well. When you saw her at the post-game press conference really break down like she did, have you ever seen her react so strongly before?
Not in that setting. I don't think that I have. It was a really emotional, the World Series just in general is, you've gone for 23 weeks straight. We started in January. We pretty much, one day off a week for the athletes, but we're still going every single day. So when you get to that point at the end of the season, when the season is done, there's a lot of emotion. I always feel a lot of emotion at the end of a season. Just, it's like, oh, we did it. Like, we made it this far. But this senior class, they led our team, and the younger, the freshmen, the sophomores, they led so well, and they truly walked off the field as women. And, they were just really good people to be around every day. And our team had such great chemistry together. They just were like together all the time. One thing I think about with the World Series this year, and you were talking about the difference that you felt, like I was sitting in chapel or breakfast one morning, and I just felt so calm, and I felt a calm from the entire room. Like, there weren't a lot of nerves, and I didn't feel like anybody had a lot of anxiety. At least they weren't showing it or anything. It was just like a calm, we're here to take care of business. We know what we're doing. We're prepared. And kind of just felt like it was meant to be.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you make that comment, because there was some drama during the World Series, and especially after you lose that game to UCLA. Now, looking back at it now, it's, why would I ever doubt this team? Of course they were going to come back and win that second game against UCLA. But that calmness that you're talking about, did you feel that going into that elimination game against UCLA, just like 30, 45 minutes after they lost to the Bruins?
Yeah, I did. Coach Gasso kind of said it in her post-game press conference. It's like what we do every day in practice. And it really is. It's just, you know, the team's work ethic, the coach's work ethic, the situations that they're put in practice, it's game-like, it's real. And I didn't ever feel a sense of like, oh no, like, what are we going to do type feeling. It was really more like, we got this, like, we're going to take care of business. Nobody beats us twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm curious about you because I talk about you having a front row seat, and every time the camera pans to the dugout, well, there's Jackie Livingston walking around in the dugout right there with the best seat in the house. How long have you been with OU softball?
This was season 7 for me. And then I was in the athletics event management department for 4 years before that, and still did work with softball. I actually started in 2007 as a student equipment manager. So I've been around for a lot of seasons, but this was year 7 as the director of ops. So
cool. You are, with that being said, you're probably the perfect person to ask this because, you know, when you go to Hall of Fame Stadium now, it's 90% Crimson. Just getting a ticket to a home game is incredibly difficult. 6 o'clock on a Tuesday night against Tulsa, and the place is sold out. It's incredible, the attention and the support that this program gets. But it wasn't always like that. And I'm not saying that it was bad ever at one point, but clearly this program has seen a real influx of people supporting. When was the point? What was the year? Do you remember kind of when you really saw the tide start to turn in terms of support for this program?
I would say after we won in 2017 is when I really felt the tide, like people were starting to pay attention. I really think that 17-inning game versus Florida, you know, went 5 hours and 28 minutes or something like that, and bumped one of the NBA games or MLB games. When that happened, that was like a moment of, okay, this is getting the attention it deserves, and people are starting to really recognize how fun this game is. That's what I love about softball. I think it's such a fun game for the fans. Like, you know, it's a 2-hour game, 2.5-hour game, but there's a lot of action, a lot of emotion, excitement. So I would say in 2017 is when I really started to see the shift and just a lot of attention being brought to the program.
It was just so incredible in the 7th inning against Texas in game 2 of the championship series. I mean, this team has accomplished so much, but just to get the opportunity to put Jocelyn Alda in left field, and then the 2 balls are hit right towards her and she makes a play. She gets the curtain call. Hope Troutwine gets to come back out and make the final out. I don't know if it was you that was cutting onions in there or not. I may have shed a tear when Jocelyn Alda walked out. Like, what was your emotions? Because you've seen her from the very beginning to, you know, some of the troubles that she had early in her career to the historic legacy she's going to leave. I'm just curious about that half inning, especially with Hope coming out, Jocelyn getting the curtain call, catching 2. Like, what was that like for you?
It was really surreal. Gosh, I don't want to get emotional right now, but I I do the scorebook during the game and help with subs and counts and all of that. So I'm standing right there kind of beside coach and whoever helps her with defense. So I kind of just put the scorebook down and like had this surreal moment of like, wow, this is Alo's last game in a Sooners uniform, and just really started to think back of like what she had been through, like you said, and what an awesome career that she had. And I thought a lot about with Jossie just how much she's grown as a person. She came in young, 18, and just, I mean, loves the game so much. She's grown up, you know, obviously her dad's been around and played every day for life, but she just grew so much as a player and a person. And to me, it just was like a moment of I'm so thankful and blessed that I get to be here where I am. And I feel, you know, just grateful that I had the opportunity to maybe make a little bit of an impact in her life personally as well. And then with Hope, I mean, that was such a cool experience for her. She has great parents, great family, just really excited for her last year of her getting that opportunity. And she works hard. She's actually coming back to be a graduate assistant with us
Cool.
this next year. So she'll be around to work with the pitchers, and has such a positive attitude. And I know that she grew a lot as a player working under Coach Rocha this year. And it was a really neat experience. It just was surreal. It was emotional for everybody. I just kind of put the book down. I was just standing there like, wow, like this is awesome. So
Yeah, it was. It was. Lindsey Elam gets to come in and catch in the bottom of the seventh inning. So it was just cool that you win the national championship and all those seniors, you get to send them out the right way. Which, speaking of Lindsey Elam, she was my favorite player from this year's team. First ever guest on the Diamond MV podcast. That helps, but I just love everything that she's about. And, from a national perspective, when you talk about this team heading into the offseason, it's, well, how are they going to replace Jocelyn Alda? Can they replace Hope Troutwine in the circle? And those are great questions. But I think Lindsey Elam's impact is going to be much larger than maybe some people nationally realize. She's a captain for a reason. In the stat sheet, maybe it doesn't look like, the biggest thing that you have to replace, but just what kind of person was she? What does OU have to replace losing Lindsey Elam in that captain status that she had?
yeah, like you said, she led everybody. She was my go-to as well, as far as, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? What do you guys want to do? What dinner do you guys want to have? On the uniform committee with me. And so it's, we're really appreciative of her stepping up in the last 2 years and taking on that captain role, because it does require a little bit of time and dedication to the team. But she's always been team first. And I love that about her, because knowing, life after softball, she is going to do so well in the professional setting, whatever she chooses to do, just because of her work ethic and who she is and being that leader. But as far as on the softball field, we do have to replace, our corners and her offense as well. So we lost some really great seniors that were adding a lot of value to us offensively. But I think the coaching staff is working hard on what that next lineup is going to look like and what the output is going to be.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be just fine. They'll be okay. Probably going to be the favorite to win the national championship again. So we're all rooting for that to happen. I'm curious, what's the is there any update at all or any current status at all on Love's Field, the new stadium coming?
Yeah, so on Tuesday this week, the Board of Regents approved a $42 million budget and basically gave their stamp of approval that we can start building. So in the next couple months, they will break ground. Sure, there will be I'm hoping I can plan a big event just around the shovel going in the dirt for our Booster Club members and media and everybody. But I know the Sooner Club will be working on that as well. But yeah, Board of Regents this week said, let's get going. And we got a $42 million project in the works.
I like to ask this question to former players. It's, everyone's excited about this, but as a former player, is it a little bit sentimental to you that you had so many memories at Marita Hines Field and they're not going to play there anymore? And of course, they're not going to get to play at the new stadium. So it's sentimental. For you, you've seen what, 1,000 games, maybe more at Marita Hines Field, but you're also going to get to experience the new stadium at Love's Field. I guess, how is your feelings towards leaving Marita Hines behind, but going to what's going to be, the palace of all of college softball?
Yeah, it is sentimental. That's where I literally started my career in 2007. So I have a lot of memories there. I've grown up at Marita Hines essentially. And so I'm so excited for the softball program and where it's going to take us. But yeah, there's a lot of memories there. not even on the field, off the field, in the clubhouse, just being with the staff and the players and what we experienced in there. And so a lot of memories, but this new facility is going to be state of the art. And to see this go up for, a softball program and be the best in the country is only going to help the rest of the softball world. And
Mhm.
I love that about Coach Gasso and OU softball. We're not doing this just for us. It's not an individual thing. It's about the sport as a whole and growing the sport and growing it for the next generation. So really excited about the future.
Yeah, you mentioned you got to replace your corner infielders. I mean, we all know who this team has to replace, but you got the best hitting coach in the country in JT Gasso, and everyone knows JT. I am curious though, what are the similarities between JT and Patty, and are there any real differences between the two as well?
The similarities, they both love what they do. Love it. They have so much passion for what they're doing, for the people that they're doing it for the game. Like, they both really love their jobs. They love to coach. I'm trying to think of more similarities, but they're quite different in the way that they approach things, honestly. But JT, I would just say hats off to JT. We've known each other a long time, since we were like freshmen and sophomores in college. And he has grown so much as a coach, and the things that he implements with the student athletes and his processes and breaking down the swings. But not only that, just the recovery piece and how are we going to make your bodies be the best that they can be as far as your mobility and your recovery. And he is really smart, very smart, very knowledgeable in what he's doing. And he's grown up so much and just really impresses me every day.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to throw your opinion in on the hot discussion this offseason, which is this the best softball team of all time? I'll just give you this point, and you do with it whatever you want to do, okay? The 2013 team, there is no doubt they're fantastic, and I definitely think in some areas they were probably better than the team we just saw. But to me, and I think that this team made a statement the last game they played, defensively, Jackie. I mean, with Grace Lyons at shortstop, the double play that she turned in that game, Jada Coleman, obviously, I feel like this team is memorable, separates itself, not because of what it had in the circle, not because of what it had offensively. Both of those things were great. But I think maybe defensively, what this team is defensively is maybe what separates it above any that we've ever seen in college softball before.
Yeah, they were impressive. They the outfield put on a clinic in the last game, which was, they had Jordy Balls back, and that was awesome for Jordy to be able to come in and get those innings that she got as well. And so our defense would take a lot of pride in our defense, work on it every day in practice. And I don't think I can say if it is better than the 2013 team. I don't want the alumni coming after me.
Right, I know.
But yeah, defensively, they did what they were supposed to do and made some phenomenal plays.
Sure. We'll end with this. I'm curious what you're working on right now with the program when it comes to NIL opportunities, mentorship opportunities, Booster Club. The season's over, but you still got a lot going on this offseason in all those regards. So what do you have working on right now with those three different areas?
I'll start with our Booster Club. Our Booster Club has a new name within this last year. We launched in January of 2021, the Trophy Club, which I think is a fitting name for the Sooners.
Yeah.
So we launched in January, had a big luncheon in March that raised money for the program. All the proceeds to the Booster Club go directly to our program, and they have helped us. They helped us get a new net when our net broke against Baylor. They've helped us charter to Kentucky. Just these things that are really vital to our program that maybe we weren't planning on. But our booster club was a huge success this year, and Sooner Nation and the support that we're getting is just, we know we need them. We couldn't have won another national championship without them. And so I'm working on hopefully an event in September, August, September, meet the team with the booster club. So just kind of doing some cool things like that with some special things for our booster club members as far as getting to know the team for this next year. Which kind of goes hand in hand with mentorship as well. My passion is building our student athletes to be, ready to take on life after softball and what their personal skill sets are. And so in this last year, we had multiple different women come in and talk to the team about just boss ladies in Oklahoma, and talking about their experiences and how they can help our athletes, and just all kinds of different areas of life, and professionally as well. So we're working on building a network with our student athletes of boss ladies that can be there for them at any time. And then NIL is hot right now, really hot topic. The OU softball team has done probably over 600 transactions with NIL in the last year. We've done business with 80 different businesses locally and nationally, and leading the country in that space. We're going to continue to build on that. And with that is just education of what name, image, likeness is, because it's so new in the athletic space, but also how does it benefit, the business, the customer, and the student athlete? Like, how can we link those two together while also, gets them involved with OU softball? And so there's a lot of benefit to name, image, and likeness.
Well, if someone says, "Ooh, I want to be further involved with the softball program through the booster club," or whatever, like what's the best way to go about that? If someone's out there listening and say, "Yeah, I want to be a part of that."
So on our website, Soonersports.com, if you just navigate to the softball page, there is a link at the top for the Trophy Club if you're interested in joining the Trophy Club. And then also on Soonersports.com, there's a link to name, image, likeness, and where you can get some more information about connecting with student athletes.
There you go. Perfect. She's Jackie Livingston, Director of Operations for OU Softball. I'm glad you got to experience this year. It's going to be a memorable one. But here's the thing about OU Softball, Jackie. Something else special is coming down the road, and probably as soon as next year.
Yes. Next year is going to be a great season. Our pitching staff is solid. We've got great group of athletes coming in for the 2023 season. I know we are going back to the Mary Nutter. That's a big tournament in February. Okay. We're going to open up at Bill Barber in February. So we've got, we'll kind of do our little California tour like we've been doing the past few years. I know we'll have good competition there, but this team is going to be exciting to watch. I mean, last year's team was exciting, but I'm excited about 2023 as well. Good to see it. We'll see Jordy Ball back in the circle. She's doing really well. So it's going to be another really fun year.
In fall ball games, it'll be completely sold out on a Wednesday or Thursday night or whenever you have the games. It's just so cool to see that as well. Jackie, Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck moving forward. And it's just it's fun rooting on OU softball right now. So we appreciate everything you guys are doing over there.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.